All right, so today I had my specialist appointment with rheumatology. I ended up going to the hospital to do so. I'd say the visit lasted probably about an hour plus for the original new patient appointment. The people I met, there was quite a few. There was the specialist assistant. I'm sorry, this is the specialist, the doctor assisting the specialist, a person who was there for special programs, another person who was there for clinical trials. So during my meeting, I originally spoke to the doctor assisting the specialist, and she took down a very um, lengthy history. I'd already provided quite a bit of information in the questionnaires, but we went through what I wanted to discuss, or what I decided to discuss with her about how everything started. After that, I had to get a skin score. So basically, they ask you to put on a patient gown, and they will pinch different areas of the skin, assigning each section a score. One, I think 0, 1, 2, and possibly 3. Um, so they'll go through and they'll gently pinch like the fingers, the hand, the wrist. They can do the chest, the face, the thighs, the legs, and I believe they do the feet. Um, the specialist, when he came in, he discussed things with me as well. And when he did the skin score, it seemed like he was disagreeing with some of the scores that the assisting doctor had put down. And there was a few areas she forgot. But when they were doing the skin score, I started to think maybe that it could have been limited sclerosis. When they were done and they had discussed things, they came back into the room and they told me that they felt it was systemic sclerosis, and I would be speaking to several people. So I would be speaking to someone who had who was working with people with special programs. I would just say special programs, and then another one was clinical trials. So I spoke to quite a few people today in the same room. Um, when when they discuss what tests they need to take, they're getting quite a bit of them. I was surprised. I guess they want to create a baseline and they want to see if there's any internal damage. They suspect ILD, and that's, I think, interstitial lung disease, which is fibrosis of the lung. So right now, I forgot, but I had to go back and do my x-rays. But I had blood work done. And in that blood work, they did 14 vials. If you're someone who does not like needles, be aware they're going to draw blood. It may not be as high as mine. It may not be something where we're taking 14 vials, but I'm sure they're going to draw blood. Because I already had an ANA, and I already had the SCL antigen, or the antibody, I'm sorry, already done. I thought they were not going to do any more blood draws. I figured they'd do other tests, and they did. I got 3 other tests, not including the x-rays I got to go to. That's got to be done soon. Those are going to be with radiology and then cardiology and some other departments. I'm starting to think that maybe they're thinking this is diffuse. I don't know. I think from my own research, diffuse is the one that actually includes internal damage. If they're already saying ILD, I'm wondering if they're leaning towards diffuse more than limited. I was really hoping in the back of my mind that it would be something not so severe. They think they caught it early. So if I get any assistance from them, then I'm hoping they will stop or at least slow down the progression of the disease. Um, I'll say this: if you have to do this, I hope you have really good insurance. Um, the tests that they're looking for are not cheap, at least in my condition. In my own experience, they're not going to be cheap. I'm looking at the paperwork right here, and um, yeah. So I don't know. I'm not. I didn't cry at the doctor's office, and I didn't want to do that, and fortunately I was able not to do that. And I think it's because I already knew what was going to happen. I was always hoping in the back of my head that it would not be as severe. That it would be something, maybe it's just, hey, I read the information wrong, the numbers are wrong. But I don't think it is. And I think that the tests are going to bear out more information. I would think that it's going to clear some issues that I've had. Now I'll know why. But it'll be something in addition to what I have right now. I think they're going to find damage. I think that there's a possibility that I could be pretty disappointed by the time the results come back in. But I have an appointment in 2 weeks. I've already committed to a study that didn't look all that bad. They wanted to give me a study where there was blood draw and biopsies, and I said no. You need to be aware that you're in control, and if you need time to read those consent sheets, do it. Because the person that came over to me and wanted me to do the sheets, she explained the stuff to me, but the pages that she had for each trial, I guess, would be about 5 pages long, front and back. 3 to 5 pages long. The first one, as soon as she told me, I didn't want to take part in it because of the option of the biopsy and such. I didn't want to do that. So I did ask her to give me a copy of that, but I don't think I'll be interested in following up with that. The second one didn't seem like it was something that was going to take blood or anything. So that one, I said I might be more interested in that. I had done my research about some of the clinical studies they offered to patients there. One of them that I named, it wasn't the same one she was offering me. So I took a look. She said, hey, if you might be interested in this. And I told her I have a few minutes to make sure I can read over it and agree to this clinical trial. She said yes. She walked out for probably about 10 minutes. I actually had to go looking for her. I read through the entire thing. I felt comfortable at that point. And at any point that I do not feel comfortable, I can always stop my participation in the clinical trial. And you need to be aware of that too. You can always stop. Don't feel pressured to go in. You're getting a lot of information in that first visit, at least in my experience. I did. One of the things I will say, that helped was I brought this with me, that and a pen, and that helped a lot when I had to review my notes and when I talked to a family member about what had happened. I could review my notes and say, hey, this is what happened, instead of just guessing what it was, because you're going to get thrown a lot of information. I also brought my medication that I was currently on, and that was good because there was an error in my file, and we were able to correct that. And they need to be aware of what you're taking so that when they move forward, all the information is correct. So in my experience, I would say this: bring your medication, bring something to write in, so that, because you're going to have questions, develop questions prior, and develop a list of the symptoms that you're having. You need to do that because they will ask you about that. It will help if you did research prior so that you can develop the questions and get a better understanding of something that you already have at least a bit of understanding about. You don't want to go into this meeting and not know what they're talking about and be just totally clueless. Most of the stuff that the specialist is telling me about, I already knew. I didn't jump. I didn't get scared or anything. I think that helped me when I was in there not to cry or not to get upset. I had a better understanding of what the information he was delivering to me because I already did my research prior. Does it get you down? Yes. But you have to educate yourself because you need to be aware of what the process might include for you. Would it happen to you? Maybe not. But be aware of what could happen. Be aware of what your rheumatology office or the clinic offers to patients like you so that you can start taking them up on maybe a clinical trial you'd be interested in or on some sort of special program they offer the patients. Be prepared. That's the best thing I could say. I had to tell a family member about this, and that was kind of hard to do. No, it was hard to do because you start to realize there's no cure. They can only help you with therapies that they have to maybe slow down some of the disease, or maybe they'll ease some of your pain, if you will, with this, or some of the issues that you're going to experience with this. But you know there's no cure. They are trying to look for a cure in the clinical trials. How much of that do you tell a family member? And how much of that do they understand? Because the person I told still was holding out hope that the numbers would be okay, that the results would be okay. So, I said I'd make a video about what happened today in my rheumatology appointment, and I have. So I'm hoping this really does go out there and help someone. I really hope that the videos I'm making eventually help someone because I really wondered about doing these videos and releasing them. And I'm hoping that it helps someone in the future who might be facing this and doesn't know where to look.